just imagine, not having shelter in the middle of, January or something like that. Every hour counts. And so when they get into the trailer, they're able to have a nice meal and kind of wind down from the day.
And there was another pastor that came in for the second year that really taught us that these are God's children, and that to treat them with respect, and they're guests here.
We're really excited to be ribbon cutting for the trailer today. This was a long process that, because the church doesn't open until 9:30, we needed someplace to be able to have people come early. And the trailer was an idea, and then thanks to Ellen Stories, Stan Rosenberg, and to John Musanti and Dave Zomack, we were able to...
And Town Meeting.
And Town Meeting, yes, thank you. And many other people. We were able to make this trailer a reality, and we're really excited to show it to you today. So once we cut the ribbon, we will let you tour it, and we'll have some staff there to tell you all about each section. And then we'll show you the shelter facility. So thank you all for coming.
Jerry should come.
Jerry.
Hi, my name is Jade Lovett. I work here at Craig's Place as a shelter manager and an administrative assistant, and we just came from our trailer ribbon cutting, which is signaling the start of the new season. And right now we're here in our check-in area where all of the guests sign in. They sign up for various resources, take showers, and we check them for basically anything that they might be bringing in, and we send them over to a warm bed. All right, so here we're in the women's room. We can usually fit up to about 6 women, and they have their cots set up around here with their bins and their personal belongings, and it gives them a really safe space to be. It's kind of away from the men's room in the main area, so, it gives them a chance to have some peace and quiet, to feel safe, and we always have a staff member here on duty watching over the room so that nobody can, enter if they're not supposed to, and to kind of just attend to the specific needs that the women have. So these bins here hold everybody's bedding, their blankets, their sheets, their pillows, and a couple personal accessories that they might want to keep that, they might not want to take into the world every single day. So usually we have everybody assigned a bin number. We keep it in a chart so it stays organized, and everybody comes in, grabs their bin, helps set up their bed, and then, they go about their business. So here we're in the shower room. There are 2 showers. Everybody gets to sign up for a slot, so it kind of keeps things moving. We have 1 shower here. It's kind of smaller, but it's good. The back shower, it's handicap accessible, so anybody with any physical disabilities can use that. We have a hamper here for towels, and it's a lot of people here are actually super, hygiene conscious. So it's really nice for everybody to be able to come in, get clean, and then go into bed, and it kind of, I guess it's a little bit of a psychological thing. I know when I, feel dirty and stuff like that, I'm not in a good mood. So when people come in, they get to shower, they get to just wash whatever events of the day away, and then, go hang out, go to bed. Well, everybody needs stuff like shampoo, conditioner, soap, feminine hygiene products specifically for women. Those are always needed. Sometimes, razors, shaving cream, anything like that, any sort of hygiene product that you would use, all the guests here would like to use. So we're always looking for different donations. So any of those single-size trial toiletries that you might find in hotels, we actually prefer to get those so that everybody can kind of have some. It's individualized, and it keeps things clean. So here we have our very lovely boiler room. This is where we actually keep a lot of kind of miscellaneous things that are really important to the organization. Obviously here we have our washer and dryer, which, we keep the towels clean, we keep the face cloths clean, we give everybody clean things so that, it's nice. But we also keep our confiscated items in here. They're locked every night. Things like alcohol, things like weapons, anything that anybody brings in that we don't necessarily want to be in the main space of the shelter, we keep in here. We also keep our scanning wands in here, and our scanning process is a very important part of Craig Stores because it gives people the chance to, offer up things that they know would maybe get them kicked out of another shelter. And so when we scan people, it's kind of just saying like, hey, if you have something that, we don't really allow on the premises, you have this chance to, bring it in. And if we find it, we'll keep it and then return it to you tomorrow. So it's a good process. So here we're in our main room of the shelter. This is the men's room and kind of the general staff area. As you can see behind me, this is sort of what, part of the room looks like when it's set up for people. We have our cots here like we had in the women's room with their bins. And over to my left, which I don't know if you can see right now, there's where we usually set up our staff desk. So any medical supplies, any, office supplies that people might need, notebooks, tape. People like to do art a lot. So any of those kind of, supplies, people can come up and ask for them, and anything that we can attend to, we do. So we do have a doctor that comes in every Wednesday, and she can perform actual, clinical tests and diagnose people, whereas the people who work at the shelter can't necessarily do that because they're not doctors. But we do have all of our staff go through a CPR and first aid training prior to the shelter opening, and a lot of our students are actually, former EMTs or, have interest in the medical field. So it's kind of it's a good thing that ties in with a lot of people's majors. So here we are in our kitchen. We have kitchen staff here that are ServSafe certified, and they cook the meals that are sent to the trailer every night. And those meals are supplemented by donations from the UMass kitchen and from anybody who brings in canned donations or boxed items, anything that's not really prepared in the home. So pretty much all of the food gets stored, heated, and served from this kitchen. We have a little cart with an insulated bag that takes it down to the trailer, so it stays clean and free of any sort of contaminants, and it's just a great space. It's actually, this kitchen was redone a couple days ago, so we have a new and improved stove system. We have a ServSafe certified 3-level sink here, and I'm really excited because I think some great food is going to be cooked in here this year. So here we are in the Craig Stores cold storage, and this is where we keep pretty much all of our supplies so that they're out of the way of the church and out of the way of anybody else who wants to use the space. Here we have our freezer, which is where we store bulk items that we can't necessarily fit in the church's appliances. And we also store our bins here, which I had mentioned earlier. Any toiletries, any clothes, any donations, they kind of come in here and we take them out as needed. So there you have it, your tour of Craig's Place. We went and saw the women's room, we saw where people go to get clean, where we store our things, and we saw the main action in this room right now. Basically, all I want to say is thank you so much for watching. If anybody in the community wants to volunteer or donate, that's something that we're always looking to accept, because I personally think it's really important for different facets of the community to integrate to help people who are less fortunate. And it's something that this organization is really dedicated to and has a lot of fun with doing. It's a really great thing to get to know people who are in different situations and help them get a better quality of life. So again, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you here sometime.
Hi, I'm Jerry Weiss. I'm a board member of Craig Stores. I got involved with Craig Stores when I was on the select board. I want to tell a little bit of a background story. When I was on the board, one night a man named Ken Mazakowski came to the select board meeting, and he said, "It's a disgrace that this town doesn't have a homeless shelter." And he challenged the select board to do something about it. I took it to heart and helped with a lot of other people make this happen. And our first year, we could only get what was called a warming shelter, which meant that people could get in out of the cold, they could get some food, but they weren't allowed to lie down and sleep. They had to sit up in chairs. So that was the first year. And then we got the permits and the necessary changes in the setting to allow for cots, which you see around us. And I also want to put a plug in for the Baptist church that we're in. When we started going from church to church with our vision for a shelter, Reverend Moselle said, "Okay, what do we do?" and off we went. And the church has been completely sympathetic and helpful and agreeable all along. Always kind of, what do you need? Let's make it happen. As you heard outside, the church can't allow us to have our guests in until 9:30 because they have many activities going on all day into the evening, and we can't make them stop their activities. So 9:30 was when we start. Now, as you know, it can get pretty cold and nasty long before 9:30. So we've been struggling along with this problem. 2 years ago, we put up a little structure outside, which you may have seen, so at least they can get it out of the snow, out of the wind, out of the rain, while they waited for the doors to open. And then we came up with the idea, we need a way to get people out of the cold quicker. And we came up with the idea of a trailer. And that process took well over a year. We got a lot of funding from the town and from church groups. And it was a lot of work. And we opened tonight. And it's great. So now people will have meals served at 7:30. And they can stay in there and be warm and fed, and then at 9:30 come over here. When I'm lying in bed at night and the wind is howling and there's a blizzard outside, I say, God, I'm glad we have a shelter in this town.
I'm Jerry Gates from Craig's Doors. I'm the chairman of the committee at Craig's Doors, but I'm also the property manager for the First Baptist Church where Craig's Doors is operating. So it's kind of a dual purpose job that I'm doing. I think because our pastor wanted to get involved with the community and reaching out into Amherst, and so he said yes to Kevin Noonan and Wayland Greeny that came in and asked if he would be willing to do a temporary shelter. Then he turned around to me and said, we can do that, can't we? So I said, of course we can do it. And so it's been 5 years now. I learned a lot from Kevin Noonan. And there was another pastor that came in for the second year that really taught us that these are God's children, and that to treat them with respect, and they're guests here. And that training has done us well because we're a wet shelter, which means they can come in drinking or on drugs. We don't allow it here, but they can come to us that way, or mental problems. And that's different than most all other shelters. I think there's one other in Western Mass that can happen. But we haven't had any problems. I was just talking with the acting town manager, and we were saying how the last 2 years there's been no trespasses issued. There's been no problems with the police department, which are here every night to get their coffee. So things run very smooth. We need help from all the churches. I would like to get them together to be a base support. We would like to establish a village. Most people have heard of Housing First in small houses. We've experimented with the chronically homeless, and they need a place that they can call their own, and that's why the little houses, and it's much less expensive, the government has found out, to have them in a small village where they have their own little house than to put them through shelters. Shelters are very expensive to operate. So we want to start in the next few years to find a place, some land, to build a small village. We'll start looking at places in New York that have done it, but we've got stuff from all across the country.
Of course, like all organizations, we need money, always. If you go on our website, www.craigsdoors.org, there will be lists of materials that we need, clothing. A lot of the guests, they need clothing. We need toiletries, paper goods. So there'll be a list on the website. Also on the website you can donate. There'll be a button for that. And there also, if you want to volunteer at the shelter in the evening, we rely on volunteers. We can't run without them. And you can sign up also online to come here and serve food one night and greet the guests and make them feel comfortable here.
So if there's anyone that would like to volunteer, would like to come in and even just come in to see how it operates, we'd be glad to receive you. Anyone that has any ideas and would like to work on the Shakespeare Village, which we're going to call the Little House Village, we'd be glad to have you come and talk with us.